Hello and welcome to the bonus episode for Season 8, which was From Random to Rants. For this bonus episode, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the future of this podcast and let you in on a few things that were going on and some things that I hope will happen with the podcast. Before I dive in, I did say a couple of episodes ago that I would come clean about something stupid I did. I know you'll be shocked. And if you do follow me on the blog, you will know this story, so apologies, I'll keep it brief, but if you know it already, I'm sorry. But for those who don't, a few weeks ago now we had some storms going on in the UK, and on that stormy night, I was a little stressed. I'm putting that out first before I even tell you what happened. I was stressed. Our fence panel was wobbling, and I was thinking, if that falls down, the dog's going to go, and it was just getting to me. And I was trying to look things up online, and I thought, I'll have a wee look at the blog. And I don't know how, but I had somehow signed out of the blog, which I don't do normally. I normally keep it open because I'm in there all the time. Anyway, I'd signed myself out, and I tried to sign back in. And lo and behold, after a few attempts, because you know how it is to remember passwords and things, I thought, what are you just sign me in. But then, what I got was a blank page, like, when you first start your WordPress blog thing, and this long, sinister name that started Runaway Dutifully and a whole lot of numbers and letters, and I just thought, I've been hacked. They've stolen my whole blog. I mean, there was nothing there. No articles, no pictures, nothing. And they still had my name on it somewhere. I can't even remember all the details now. So there was still some information there, but everything was blank. And I thought, oh no. I mean, I've been doing the blog 18 months. I think it'll be 2 years this summer. So it's a lot of stuff, a lot of articles and poetry and all sorts of things. And I was devastated. I was absolutely devastated at the thought of having to start again. Anyway, I contacted WordPress and I put a thing on my YouTube community post about it. I've been hacked, screaming from the rooftops, I've been hacked. Couldn't contact the usual people on the blog to tell them, the stuff going on. And I even contacted the WordPress legal department to say, your security should be better. I've been hacked, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I got so stressed out. The fence panel did come down, the dog did run away, and I managed to get him back. So yes, it was stressful. So there were some tears that night. I went to bed feeling just deflated and didn't know what to do. I got up the next day and I thought, I'm going to try again. Screw you, Runaway Dutifully. You're not going to get my blog that easily. So I tried another password. It was the username, I think, that was throwing me. So I tried another one. And somehow, I don't know what happened, but somehow I got in and I thought, what's going on? And I clicked. And there was my homepage. There was everything back the way it used to be. And I couldn't believe it. I was practically jumping for joy. And I thought, what's going on? So I managed to get through to an actual human being, or as they call them, it was a happiness engineer on WordPress. By the way, I couldn't get through to a human when I was on the Runaway Dutifully site because you have to be on a paid plan to speak to an actual human being. And even though I had a paid plan according to this one, I didn't. And anyway, so when I finally got into this, or got back into my own blog, spoke to an engineer. They did some background checking to find out who this Runaway Dutifully was. Do you know who it was? It was me. I'd hacked myself. Technically what I had done, because I couldn't remember the username, I'd actually opened up a new blog page, and that's why it was blank. And I can't even tell you how embarrassed I was when they told me that. I'm kind of over it now. That's why I feel I can share it. I've shared it on the blog. I've shared it on YouTube. If you don't follow me in either of those places, you won't know the story. That's why I thought I'd come and tell you. So if you're having one of those days where you're feeling a bit clumsy, feeling a bit stupid, I'm putting it down to stress. I think I can just about get away with that. So it's just to let you feel a bit better about yourself. I hacked myself on my blog. And if you'd like to hear more stories like that and keep up to date with all the stupid things that I do, head over to the blog, link in the description, or YouTube, link in the description, and then you'll be up to date with everything like this that I end up doing. I don't understand how I do it, but I do. Anyway, that was just to fill you in on one of the things I've done. So back to the bonus episode, the future of the podcast. This season, From Random to Rants, it's covered a lot of random topics, so it seemed like a good place to bring all this up. And I want to talk about the future of this podcast because during Christmas and New Year, I was pretty convinced there was no future for this podcast. Yeah, I was really struggling. I mean, I put the trailer episode out on the 1st of July 2023, and I know it's not the best in the world. I used a microphone I got for £5 and I had no clue what I was doing, but I put it out. And every Monday since then, I've released an episode. Every week, no breaks. And I listen to quite a few podcasts, and everyone I hear is well polished, has a great intro, it's got great audio quality, and here's the kicker, there's a team of some sort behind it. Even if it's just 2 people, there's a team there. In fact, most of the ones I listen to seem to have a small army. Somebody does the research, somebody else does the notes or the script, there's someone for audio, post-production and thumbnails and on and on and on. And I think what happened to me was I was comparing what I managed to put out by myself with all these other podcasts, and I felt like I just didn't measure up. Now I know you're probably thinking you should just do your own thing and not bother with the others, and you'd be right. But I'm human, and it happens sometimes. Plus, they all have guests, and I haven't figured that out at all yet, so there's that too. Another issue, I think, is my impatience. And that's weird for me because in a lot of ways I'm a really patient person. But I get stats about how many people follow, how many downloads and so on, and you can't help but notice that sort of thing. So initially, when I was in my downward spiral, I was thinking, right, I've got a couple more season ideas, then I'm done. That's it. Now bear in mind, I'm homeschooling our son, caring for my husband, running the house, I've got my blog going on, I've got my YouTube channel, so sometimes I feel a bit overwhelmed. And I get quite a lot of feedback in those other areas, not so much with the podcast. But here's the weird thing, it's the podcast that takes up the most of my time when it comes to all my online stuff. With the season planning, the research, the recording, the editing and so on. And I might only end up with a 15-minute episode at the end of it. And doing that for 18 months straight hasn't always been easy. So then I had a thought. Why don't I get you guys involved? Without you, there is no show at all, right? So I would love to tell some of your stories on the podcast. And I want to start by telling your paranormal stories. Everybody's got at least one story to tell, and I want yours. So I've set up a brand new email where you can contact me directly, and it's myslicecontact@gmail.com. No spaces, no capitals, nice and easy. myslicecontact@gmail.com. So I'll put a link to that in the notes below. Send me your stories. Your podcast needs you. Hey, you never know, maybe one day I'll be able to actually get some of you on for interviews if I ever figure out how to do that and actually, get the nerve to do it, because that is a big issue for me at the moment. I just don't really, apart from not knowing how to do it, I'm not comfortable with it yet. Anyway, now as well as your paranormal tales, I need you to use that email address, the myslicecontact@gmail.com, and give me your suggestions and ideas for future episodes or season topics. Like I said, I have a few up my sleeve, but I really want to cover what you want to hear. I want you to be as excited about the season topics as I am, so get brainstorming and let me know what you come up with. Even if you've only got 1 or 2 suggestions and think, maybe an episode on this or that, don't know what the topic would be for the season, but can you fit it in? Anything. Now there must be millions of podcasts by now. I don't think that's an underestimate. It's a huge number. It is, it's an enormous number. So the fact that you've clicked this episode today, or you've even listened to a couple of episodes, whatever it may be, that makes me so grateful that you've seen it and thought, I'll give that a listen. It really does. It still blows my mind. It still blows my mind that some of you have subscribed or follow this podcast, and it's still a little nerve-wracking if I think about it. But I'm so thankful for each and every one of you. So if you haven't subscribed yet, by the way, it is free. It won't cost you a penny. I don't put episodes behind a paywall or anything like that. In fact, I'm going to be really honest. So far, I haven't made 1 cent from any of my online content. Not a thing. I know that isn't to make you go to the Buy Me a Coffee page or anything like that. It's just to let you know, I take this seriously. I do. I want to keep making content you will enjoy. And I have no intention of charging you for it. So the future of this podcast is kind of in your hands at the moment. Tell me your spooky stories. Tell me what you want to hear about. And of course, last but not least, I'll tell you to take care of your wee self.